So I posted a podcast where I talked about my top 15 steps that I do for managing my ADHD. And one of the things that I talked about on the episode was my command center for ADHD, which is the place on my wall in my bedroom that I have a lot of visual cues that I could just look up at and see the tasks that I have batched for the day, see my schedule, see things that I need to keep top of mind to eliminate the decision making. So I had some folks ask me about it. So let me go ahead and show you. Okay, so this is my command center on the side of my bed, which you're not going to see because it's not made up. And it is my vision board there at the top, one of the schedules, the weekly schedule, and the schedule that I have for my son and then a few of the reminders. So I'm going to go through the ones that I talked about on the podcast. Okay, it's kind of a rainy day here in Houston, so I brought it to my living room where there's more sunlight so I can show you. So this is one of the schedules that was at the bottom. This is my schedule for myself and my son. So if I do one thing to battle mom guilt and to battle feeling like I need to do all the things all the time, that I'm not teaching enough or having enough quality time with him or teaching him to be self-sufficient, I have it split up into, if I do just do one thing a day with him, this is a thing for me to do to make sure that I am covering all my bases. So you can see I got games and crafts, that he's cooking with me, that he's washing dishes with me, laundry, whatever. And if I don't hit these things, I'm okay. But me just having this here is helping me not have to make a decision, so that if I look up and I'm like, okay, it's Wednesday, what is something that I can do with him today if it's not already top of mind, that I can do laundry. And of course I can switch things out. I can go to the park. I can do anything with him. But this is for when I feel overwhelmed and I feel like I need some direction. And I also have my workout schedule here too. If I ever get off track or get off base, it's already right here to let me know what my days are. On the podcast, I also mentioned having a list of my favorite hobbies, just to make sure that as I'm building my schedule and I'm doing things for myself, and when I'm not working, to make sure I'm actually doing things that are fun for me. So I wrote out my hobbies, because sometimes I can even forget what my hobbies are, especially if I have a new hyperfixation that I'm focusing on. These are kind of my tried and true. Again, these can change at any time, but I try to make sure that I have a variety of things that I'm focusing on. So I have it split up into categories of exercise, art hobbies, sport hobbies I like, culinary hobbies, educational hobbies, cultural hobbies that I like, nature hobbies, and just miscellaneous fun time, which is board games, karaoke, dance nights, all those things. All right. Okay, this one is not as clear to read. I probably need to go over the markers again, but I talked on a podcast how I have this weekly one with kind of the same thing that I have for my schedule with my son, which is, what's my one thing to focus on. But for me, on the first Sunday, I'm washing my hair. I'm washing makeup brushes if I don't do it earlier. I'm washing hair again. When I get my car washed throughout the month, when I do my personal care stuff. Here I have pinned my own personal values just to make sure I'm also staying in alignment with the things that are important to me. I have some affirmations, concerts that I want to visit, travel plans I want to make, but y'all don't need to know everything, all my business. That's also why my vision board was covered up, by the way. I have things on there, but just wanted to keep some things private, so there's that. And something I did mention on the podcast, but not from my command center, but it used to be here, is I talked about how I have a recurring weekly schedule that's just based on the hours of the week, and I just kind of have a idea of what I do throughout the week. Again, this is probably things you can't make out, only because I have not had this on my wall in a long time, because now I do my weekly schedule on paper and I just kind of rotate it out when needed. But this used to be on my wall, on my command center, a little bit easier to read, and I would have out what my work day would look like, when I would be doing my hobbies, even when I would be taking bubble baths, and got date nights and stuff on here. So this is what I used to have on my wall as well, so that if I start to get overstimulated, overwhelmed, I could just look up and see, okay, this is kind of reset me for the day. But yeah, if you wanted to zoom in, you can zoom in and see some of the things. If it's coherent that you can read it, you can even read, especially on that weekly schedule, some of the things I make sure that I do in my morning routine, journaling, gratitude, affirmation, scripting, all that stuff. But again, what I found when it comes to ADHD is it's good to have a plan, but be flexible with what happens. Trying to do things by willpower and willpower alone gets really hard because your brain doesn't work like that. And it's more learning how to practice self-forgiveness, learning that even if you are building a habit, it takes time. It takes time and it takes consistency, and consistency for you looks different. It's not going to look like the person next to you who may be able to do things 100% of the time or even 99% of the time, and that's okay. What's most important is that you're doing your best and that you're doing what works for you. So for those who wanted to see, I hope that you find that helpful. And if you have any of your own tips that you do for your ADHD or neurodivergency and any kind of management executive functioning around that, feel free to let me know.